Well, I'd like to begin with the news report filed by my colleague Jugal Purohit. He is the first reporter. Headlines today, the only channel to reach Lamjung, the epicenter of the shallow quake, which took place just about 2 kilometers down the Earth's surface. Now, these are the first aerial sortie which was being conducted over the epicenter. My colleague Jugal Purohit has sent these images which clearly narrate the complete story of destruction, the quake. What you see on your television screen are Army and Air Force personnel taking stock of the damage. These are exclusive pictures of the quake damage filed by my colleague Jugal. He's right there on your television screen. The first airborne footage of the damage that has taken place. Now, the Indian Air Force has done a full reconnaissance mission. A full air surveillance has been conducted to assess the damage, and what is being reported, sadly, is widespread damage, much more than what was assessed earlier. All right, I want to cut across to that report filed by my colleague Jugal.
An urban region like Kathmandu on account of it being an urban region like Kathmandu, especially on account of it being the capital, obviously gets a lot of attention.
All right, so what you see on the television screen is my colleague Jugal Purohit. There's a reason why you can't hear him very well, because he's being drowned out by the voice of the engine of the aircraft that he's on board. But we've been speaking to him, and this is a coordinated effort by the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army, a surveillance operation taking place. The damage being assessed there over Lamjung, the epicenter of the quake. But various, there are... the news is developing at various ends. Now, this is a sortie which the Indian Air Force is conducting over to assess the damage. But on the other side, there is also rescue and relief operations being carried out at the Air Force, at the Everest base camp. And I believe my producers tell me that I'm joined by one such person who's right now at the Air Force base. Shekhar Babu is on the phone line with me. Shekhar, if you can hear me, I'm glad that you're well and safe, but just can you take us through what you're witnessing around you?
Hi, we are on actually our north side, which is Chinese side of Everest. Here also we felt yesterday 3 times and today afternoon 1 time, almost 4 times we have felt the earthquake. Yesterday was much stronger. At that time, a couple of my team members were sitting in 22,000 feet. Presently we are in 18,000 feet. So there are a lot of rock falls, avalanches here, but they didn't touch either 22,000 feet camp or the camp which is at 18,000 feet. So there are not much damages this side, the Chinese side, the north side of Everest, compared to south side. But still, we have called off all the teams down to base camp from 22,000 feet. And today morning, there are about 150 climbers from all over the country who are trying to climb Everest from north side. They have been descended to 18,000 feet. Whereas this 18,000 feet area, which we call as a base camp, is an open ground, which is something like, which is equal to 10 football grounds.
Right.
It is such a huge open area. So this we felt the safest place to camp and stay here.
Right.
While for us to return also, the road which is between Zangmu and Nyalam, by which we have to drive, the road is also being broken due to yesterday's earthquake. So we are just here at the base camp and we'll await for...
Shekhar, do you have enough supplies in terms of food and medicine?
Yes, because we have prepared for our 60 days expedition. So almost all expedition teams are sufficiently, has all the logistics, whatever are required.
All right, you're hoping to be rescued, you and your team hoping to be rescued soon, Shekhar?
Basically, we are not dependent on anyone. Even yesterday when it has happened, all the teams who are sitting, about 15 teams from different countries here, including Indian team.
Right.
We all came together and we worked together to bring all the people who are at 20,000 feet down. To
That's quite commendable, Shekhar. Shekhar, you're giving very important information, something that hasn't really come out right now in Indian television. Just take us through this, because the information that you're giving, primarily is that the north side of the Everest base camp is quite safe. Nothing much has happened there. So that's heartening to note, not much damage on the north side. However, reports filtering from the south side of the Everest base camp say that it's far more devastating than the north. Can you give us more details? Because there are many people tuned into this news broadcast and it might help them. They might have people who are struck at the Everest base camp. Can you give us these details, please?
There are about 15 teams sitting, including about 200 climbers are here. because as usually we prepare with 2 months logistics, so we are properly equipped for everything. And this side, natural calamity was there. There were rock falls and there were avalanches, but they didn't touch big camping areas.
Okay.
So there won't be much damages or human damages.
So the avalanche, they're very disturbing pictures that are coming for, I think now you've confirmed those, because those pictures of the avalanche are probably being captured from the south side of the Everest base camp, and they are not from the north. So relatively, like you said, the north much safer than the south.
Yes, we have experienced within 24 hours it is much safer. Otherwise also, generally we consider the north route is much safer compared to these natural calamities.
Okay.
Because no avalanche prone areas.
Are you getting in word from the south?
Shekhar,
are you getting in word from the south? What is the situation there?
Yeah, we are in contact with radio because there's some network problem over there with the mobiles. We couldn't contact anyone over the telephone. But the hand radio, what we are using in the north base camp, we can communicate to the people in the south base camp. We know the situation there, and still the rescue operations are on.
What is the situation, Shekhar?
As per the weather forecast, continuously 3 days weather is going to be bad. Then we have to see how it is going to be handled.
How bad is the situation, Shekhar, on the south side? What are you picking up from the wires there? You've been in touch with the people.
The only thing we come to know is there are it's a huge avalanche which has hit a base camp. It's a base camp means south side there were more than 700 climbers sitting there.
Okay.
So there's so many casualties, and especially there is an Indian Army team
right
there which was supposed to climb Mount Everest. So Indian Army team and there are a couple of other teams are carrying a rescue operation. And even from India, United Nations, everybody has come together and they are taking up a rescue operation.
All right.
But from today afternoon, the weather went bad. So
yes.
We heard that there's rescue operation is not happening. Otherwise, also the manual rescue, whatever can be done, are being done, and their expected casualties are more than deaths.
All right.
People who are stuck up above avalanche-prone area, that is Camp 2, 6,200 meters. From there, we heard that they are directly lifted from the chopper and they are taken to the safest place.
All right. I appreciate you joining us, Shekhar. Be safe, and we'll keep trying and cutting across to you for the very latest. As Shekhar Babu, there he's a mountaineer. Fortunately, like he pointed out, he's at the north side, and the north side of the Everest Base Camp 1 is not as badly affected. However, he and his team are in touch with his colleagues and his friends who are stuck on the south side, and the images, they're devastating. This was one of the images that was recorded from the south side, completely enveloping the camps which was set up there.